Hello, my name is Nguyen. I am a senior at O'Day High School, and this is part of my English final. So in this part of the final, I'm going to become Dylan Thomas, a poet from the 20th century, and I'm going to be talking about his life, his influences, some of his famous works, and a little bit more. Before I begin, just a disclaimer, I will be using some props in this video, and in the words of Shakespeare, on your imaginary forces work. Whatever you see, just pretend it is what I say it is. Also, I will be changing clothes periodically throughout the video to provide a representation of what Dylan Thomas may have worn during his lifetime. Anyways, hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Oh, hello there. My name is Dylan Thomas. I am a poet, writer, playwright, performer, actor, and so much more. I hope today that I'll be able to explain a little bit to you about my life. Let's begin with the beginning of my life. I was born in Swansea, Wales on October 27, 1914. Swansea is a beautiful city located in South Wales. There's a beautiful view of the water here, and there's many trees, shrubs, and flowers throughout the city. It's quite beautiful here. Take a look at this beautiful view of Swansea Bay. I just love the blue sky and the blue water. It's so peaceful. That reminds me of my parents. My father, David John Thomas, or DJ Thomas, was the senior English master at Swansea Grammar School. Every night he would recite Shakespeare poems to me, and even though I couldn't read, I enjoyed listening to them. My mother, Florence Hannah Thomas, was a seamstress. She tried keeping our family together, but it was pretty tough. Both my parents were native Welsh speakers. They were quite fluent, but they didn't teach it to me, so I only know how to speak English. And this is my house. It's quite a nice, cozy house. Very quiet neighborhood here. And have some beautiful flowers, a nice garden. So here's a little bit of my desk. I've been quite busy lately doing some writings. Here's one of my books that I've been reading. A lot of great poetry in there. Now let me talk about some of my accomplishments. In 1934, I published my first book of poetry called 18 Poems, and guess what I won? The Poets Corner Book Prize. Here's a little plaque of the prize. It's quite an amazing achievement for me. Very proud of that. So after I won the Poets Corner Book Prize, I took the success to my head, and I began to start drinking alcohol. And ever since then, I've become an alcoholic. In 1947, I won the Traveling Scholarship from the Society of Authors. With that scholarship, I was able to travel to Florence with my family. Speaking of Florence, in 1952, I published In Country Sleep and Other Poems, which was a nice collection of poems. One of them being one of my most favorite poems that I've written, Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night. You know what I forgot to speak about? My wife and my children. How could I forget? My wife is the beautiful Caitlin McNamara. She's an absolutely amazing wife. Although we've had some conflicts with each other, we've been able to resolve them. So far we've had 3 children, our daughter Llewellyn, and our sons Eranwi and Colin. They're all wonderful children. There's been many influences in my life. For example, during World War II in the 1940s, I ended up working at the British Broadcasting Corporation, or BBC, and I also wrote plays during that time. I've also had many literary influences in my life. D.H. Lawrence, another poet, inspired me greatly. He used vivid imagery in his poems to describe nature, and that has inspired me to also use vivid language in my poems. Before I finish today, I wanted to go over one of my most favorite poems. Do not go gentle into that good night. So this poem I wrote was a villanelle, so it has 5 tercets here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it ends in 1 quatrain. And it uses a couple of refrains, so I repeated this phrase, do not go gentle into that good night, and rage, rage against the dying of the light. You can see that I use that throughout this poem. And so I wrote this poem for my father because during this time, in the early 1950s, my father was going blind, and I wanted to give him the message to keep fighting on, no matter what. No matter how sick he got, or how terrible he was feeling, I wanted him to know that he should keep fighting on. And so you can see that I referenced my father in the poem, and I refer to his blindness as dying of the light, which I think is a vivid way of describing blindness. So, to wrap up here, I'm going to end with something I said a long time ago. Somebody's boring me. I think it's me. So we're back to where we started. This is the end of the video. Almost. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.